start looking for the walls to this insane asylum. Because the things I see going on in this world, to me, seem insane. Absolutely. I mean, John Lennon, I think, said it when he was on a, he says the leaders, I'm paraphrasing, this is the leaders we have today are insane, and they're doing maniacal things for maniacal reasons. And I think they'll put me in an insane asylum just for saying that. And that's the insanity of all this.
Well, you know, but I can't remember a time where leaders didn't do those things.
Indeed, which is, I mean, this is an age-old thing. It hasn't started or ended with my life. And we can go back to the beginning of time and wonder how the hell we get to this spot. How do we get to those spots all the way in between? But at least today, I mean, we're supposed to have evolved to some level of understanding. I mean, we're still not in the cave. We're still, well, some people still live like they're in the cave. You know, but for the most part, people are walking around by the convenience, indoor plumbing, internet. I mean, there's a whole plethora of things that, you know, have raised the elevation and standard of living of our lives and allowed us, freed us from just being hunters and gatherers, spending our time looking for something to eat and screw. So, you know, we got plenty of time on our hands, and what happens? We start developing thoughts. We start inventing things. We start expanding. Start looking to the stars and wondering why in the hell we're here to begin with. So all these things spur us to go further and further and further. At the same time, we still got one foot in the grave, or a cave.
That may be true, but I see things a little different. The things that's given to us that's supposed to open us up, we're not living better than our ancestors did in the past. We eat food with no nutritional value. That reduces our mind and our thinking capacity. We watch television, and we also we're on the internet, and you have a situation right there where that's a conditioning of the mind. In fact, if you MK mind control, I mean, that is a real thing that took place in the 60s. I mean, people walking around now and they can see the police come out there and beat the hell out of somebody and nobody would say anything. They just pull out their cell phone and they want to put it online real quick. But nobody will gather up to reduce what's happening to the individual being accosted. So we're living in a world not of tyranny in our own mind. You know, I once saw a video where an ant was walking on a white piece of paper. He had the freedom to go anywhere on the paper. And the guy drew a circle around the ant and the ant stopped moving, because he confined himself within the span of that circle. And that's how we are today as a people. We're confined in the span of the circle of our own intelligence. You know, and it's not infinite, it's very finite. So you don't go that far. I mean, think of
if I may, I agree with everything you said up to this point, but you're proving my point. Just the fact that you are confident enough to go ahead and look upon our situation and see the problem is enough to go ahead, and then we can it's like once you've learned the magician's trick, you can't get fooled by it again. So you can't get fooled, you're wide awake.
Well, that is true. I mean, it has to do with your renal gland, your third eye. If your third eye is shut, then you cannot get out of the realm of your own mind.
The consciousness levels, that's again, going back to what he said, when we have freed from the chains of just having to look for food, survival, you know, mating, we start expanding. That's where what you're talking about comes into play. We start getting into other things.
That is true. But we're taught wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
We're taught wrong.
But all the things you brought up, like the internet, TV, and all, are tools. And they can be misused and have been misused by the powers that be to enslave a great many of the people.
Well, that is correct. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Seattle ants that actually go out and they send their homies out to raid other ants when they need more troops. When their troops, army ants get elderly, they go out and they they don't take everybody, everything there. They kill every living ant there and take the larva and bring the larva back to the princess, where the princess hatched the larva, and the larva somehow think that it's part of that colony. So they never realize that they're actually slaves. They were bred for slavery. And that's how people are today.
Indeed.
You know?
But again, a lot of people are waking up to that. You're awake to it. You're sitting here expounding that to me. I'm out here waking other people up to it, plus other people come along like yourself that are aware of what's going on, and they're going, yeah, and I'm teaching my kids to be aware. So, you know, and people are stopping. There are a lot of people who are already in the past. How many people you know that don't watch TV anymore? I know a lot.
Yeah, well, yeah. Reading is fun to mental.
Yes.
Fun to mental.
Yes.
And the thing about that is when somebody else take away your books and give you a screen that's based on illusion, everything on there is based on illusion. Even your news that you get, you know, and you believe inside of this illusion.
I always ask people, I always tell people, if you ever really want to get a handle on what we're doing, what's going on for real, watch Fiction. The movie that won the 1974 Academy Award, Network. Yeah. And Wag the Dog with Dustin Hoffman and yeah. Those two just bring it, looks exactly what you're saying, what you do.
Yeah, that's the funny thing, because they put things before your eyes and
it's an illusion.
They dilute you from what's going on in the rest of the world. You know, when I was foolish enough to be in the military, I traveled the world 3 times, and I saw things inside of the world that it was kind of upsetting when I got here, because we look at a situation like communism as a bad thing, but our military is strictly communism in the making.
Oh yeah, but again, there's no liberty in and it's understood that there's no liberty in the military.
That is, it is, and we think we're the greatest democracy in the world, and we go out and we fight wars as the United States, giving democracy to other people, but the United States has never been a democracy, not ever.
It wasn't supposed to be. It's supposed to be a republic.
It still is a republic. You know, but
a perverted one now.
Yeah, it's a perverted republic, but there we have it, because we elect our officials to go to Congress and speak for us. If it was a democracy, we would go down as the people and we would expand our voice and say, hey, we don't want this, but you don't get that option.
If I may chew on this, this is what I'm looking at. With the technology we've been talking about, why do we even need the representatives anymore? Why don't we? Yeah, because we have the problem was space and time before. We needed representatives to speak for us. Well, now everybody's walking around with a cell phone, instant communication. I mean, we have representatives who don't even write or read or sign the bills.
Right.
So why do we even need them? Why don't we write our own legislation? We can vet it ourselves, vote it ourselves, and do away with all these so-called representatives to begin with.
Because the United States is a fascist country that's ran by
well, of course, I'm speaking about after the revolution.
Right. You know, that's true. Because we don't write these laws into existence. Just the other day, America passed 400 new laws that went into order. And you got to ask yourself, 400 new laws based off of what?
Yeah.
You know what these 400 new laws are? No, because they were not told to you. Right. But they were passed. And you got a representative, and you go to Congress, and you sit there. Last night, I'm watching the series Marco Polo, and Marco Polo is in Kubla Khan's custody. And the thing about it is, they gave him free reign. He can go anywhere around the land that he chooses, but he just cannot leave the dynasty. Right up here. So you have your council. You know, Khan has his council, and they come in here and they say, hey, we don't think we should go to war. And he overrides that and say, well, okay, I know that, but we're going to war. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that's how our Congress is today. So you got to ask yourself, in our situation of living, okay, we have this council now. Who is the Kubla Khan of this council? Who is overriding the righteousness of this council when this council say, hey, we don't want to go to war, but yet we still find ourselves in Afghanistan. And they say, hey, look, we don't belong over here
They're not even asking Congress anymore.
no.
They're bypassing. It's coming directly from the executive.
To the executive
So,
you got to ask yourself, where do we lie here?
Yeah.
In this, I mean, look what's going on in Venezuela right now.
yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
yeah.
It's anarchy. There's no food. People make 30% a day. You know, and
Eggs, $1,500 a carton.
it's crazy. But you look at the expansion of what's taking place in here from 1970 to now, the prices.
Yeah.
And the interest. You used to be able to purchase a home for $15,000 and have that home paid off within 15 years. Well, they doubled that. In 15 went to 30 years. You look at a car, a 4-year note now is a 7-year note, an 8-year note. You know, you pay for your home enslavement. You get up every day, you go to work for a dollar bill, and if you ask a person, what do a dollar bill do for you? What is it? And they couldn't tell you. You know, well, that's something I use. It's cash. It's money. Well, what is money? Money come attributed just like your light bill, phone bill, and any other bill you get. It's a bill. It's already pre-tax. It's not even worth $1. So you work for your own enslavement. And this is what you get up and they dangle in front of your eyes like a donkey with a carrot in there, and they smack you in your ass and say, "Carry me." You know, and when they want you to move faster, they bring that dollar closer. Then when they want you to slow down, they move it further away. You know, we're up every morning and we're running and we're running and we're running and we're going out and get these things. What are these things that you're purchasing? Everything that you get and you work for is depreciating right before your eyes. As soon as you get it, it's not even worth what it was when you purchased it. But we're up every morning and we're doing this. We spend 30 years on a job just to be downsized at 25. You know? And you find yourself out here, it's like, what happened? Do you think the housing bubble happened mysteriously? No, they already knew about that. Rich people already knew about that. In fact, they did the same thing to your housing bubble that they did to your pension plan. You know, they turned your pension plan into a 401k plan, and they took all the stock mutual funds that wasn't worth anything on Wall Street and grouped them together and said, here, that's your savings for the rest of your life.
Let me ask you, have you seen, because you're well aware of what's going on. I mean, you can be a professor of this stuff, right? But haven't you seen some level of raising of consciousness percentage-wise? I know that most of the public's still dumb as a box of rocks, but still, I mean, I'm being out here on the street, I'm talking to more and more people all the time. It's what I like to do, engage. And yeah, things are getting heated a bit more, but people are paying more attention now, too, to certain things. To give you an idea, just this past election cycle, being the fact that, you know, Bernie Sanders on the left, and it was bringing a lot of attention. You got a lot of young people started coming in, and Trump on the right was screaming about how things are getting stolen and bringing attention to the delegates. And all of a sudden, a whole mass of people are paying attention to something that they didn't pay attention to before. What is the delegate? What is their role? How come they usurp my vote? And so, you know, there was this question going on, and it was raised, and that's why you see this harder and harder polarities now, where we're seeing a rise. I'm looking at this election being more repudiation of the people's anger against the people you're talking about, the establishment that has been playing us all along. So this election seems to be an exclamation point on that. You know, like, we don't care. We just want them all out now. Destroy it all, bring it down, bring in this guy, even though we don't know what the hell he's all about. It's better than the crooks that are there. Do you see that at all, or am I off base? How do you view this?
I still see the illusion. I still see the smoke and mirror. For 8 years, we had President Obama come in and take over George W. Bush. Now, he took office, but yet everybody in the cabinets was the same. And 90% of them came from Goldman Sachs.
Got worse, yeah.
You know, so that was the same regime that George Bush Jr. had, that his daddy had, and that Bill Clinton had. None of those people went anywhere.
But that ain't going to happen with Trump. If
now,
he gets in, if he gets in.
The thing about these people is that the president is elected in January. they've already know who this president or whatever is going to be, whether it's going to be him. They already figured that out. The American people discovered we had no pull in the election underneath Bush his second term, when they thought their vote mattered and they found out what a popular vote was. You know, they're not out here campaigning for your vote. They're campaigning for electoral votes.
The first thing that should have happened after that, when Bush got selected, would have been election reform. That's the first, biggest, absolute fair election. Of course, they don't want fair elections. That's the last thing they want. It's only gotten worse.
I mean, they don't tell you the rules of the game. You're not allowed to know the rules of the game until something happens, and you say, wait, this is
then
not
they'll change
right.
the rules.
Then they change the rules of the game. You know, you cannot stand here and look at any president and say, hey, look, this guy changed the world. This guy, it was Andrew Jackson who never wanted to give ownership to the dollar bill. He wanted to keep the greenback. You know, but some kind of way we still ended up with the dollar bill. We look at John F. Kennedy, who was shot dead, and people say, well, he was shot dead because what was going on during that time and era. No, he was not shot dead for that. He was shot dead for that because he spoke on the matter of taking the gold standard away from the dollar bill and implemented the silver standard, because the United States had an abundance of silver. So they shot him.
Yes.
You know, they took care of him. And the whole thing with the integration of what went on with blacks during the 60s and whatever have you, the integration was brought on by this country. You didn't have to fight for that. They wanted you integrated in this country. They wanted everybody in the same stew pot. Because now, you know, hey, look, when we dump on you, it's not just one set we're dumping on. We can work a lot less harder. You know, we can dump on you at the same time.
Now they're opening up the floodgates, of course, for the third world Islamic countries, were, you know, absolutely diametrically opposed to anything that we're supposed to stand for. Which is the clash of civilizations that was talked about back in the 70s. There wrote books about it. The elite said, we're going to create the clash of civilizations. And this is basically what they're doing.
Well, the whole thing is based off of one president, money and greed. That's all it ever been based off. I mean, when you got a group of people here in the United States saying, oh, you took our jobs, you move them overseas. Yeah. Well, how do you, oh, please bring back the job. You're begging them to bring back the jobs. How do you get the job back from overseas? It's a simple task. Stop buying their products. You know, if you stop buying their products, they don't have a need to be overseas because nobody is purchasing what you have over there. So either you come back here.
I'd like to leave anything from Bulletproof Vest Fund to be appreciated. You get a free get out of jail, Hillary. Here, take it to a liberal friend.
She won't ever I have a Facebook group I run called Your Opinion Counts. And the biggest thing that I found out about people is people are scared of information. They're scared of the truth. And the more truth that you bring to them, the more their heart pounds and they can't take it. I had a friend when
I'm in the business, I know.
Yeah. I had a friend, we went to school together, and I found on Facebook one day, and she was like, let's start this group. And I'm like, I don't want to start a group. I said, you know, this is a deep rabbit hole that you fall into when you start groups like this. And trust me, people don't want to know. Oh, yeah. So we started the group, and one of the first thing I attributed to her learning process was religion. I said, well, let me just bound religion right now and have an understanding that you are God. Each and every one of us is God in the making. And how do you know that? Because your temples, this is here and here, host your God, this is your mind. You know? I mean, everyone knows that, I think. And I went through this field of telling her. And one of the greatest tools that I use is a documentary called The Geist, in the Age of Time.
Which one?
The Geist.
The Geist? Yeah.
And once you break down everything, you open up the Bible. My dad was a Baptist for over 30 years. And he wanted me to follow in footsteps. And I said, well, it's hard to follow in those footsteps because they don't exist. You know, I'm like, it's like walking in sand and you got water behind you. Every footstep you made, it disappeared. because you're not walking with truth. You know, so we kind of went that left that way with us. You know, but that's the first thing that keeps you confined to the situation that you're in, because it's always been utilized for political too. And then once we get past the religion portion of it, if we couldn't get you on religion, now we're going to bring in rules, sanctions, and regulations. Now we'll take it to that level. Once we can't get you on rules, sanctions, and regulations, now we're going to bring in authority and force. So whichever choice you want, some people find it very easy to fall into religion.